Hello to my fellow readers. I thought I have been seeing this video where people list their 25 bookish facts about themselves as a way to get to know the booktubers on here, so I thought I would do that myself. So here it goes. Fact number 1. I always have to read 2 chapters a night. Sometimes I'm too tired that I can't continue on to the next chapter. But I always have to read I always read up to chapter 2, it's just, I can't read just one chapter because I feel like I won't progress if I just read one chapter for however long I'm, per sitting or per laying down. Okay, which brings me to fact number 2. I can only stop at even chapters. I will have to read up to chapter 2, chapter 4, chapter 6. That's when I'll stop. And now, if the next chapter after the even chapter, is too long, then I won't, and I can't read it at the moment, then I will not read, I will stop there at that even chapter and not read the next one. Okay, I don't like dog earing. But there was a time when I used to dog ear. So I will not get mad at people for that. It's just a minor noise. I won't, judge you for that. Some people just don't have bookmarks or don't want to use bookmarks. Some people just want to, or they can't, so they just dog ear their books. Which, nothing wrong with that. Okay, fact number 4. I always buy big purses so I can carry a book and a notebook like this one in my purse. Here is my current purse. This is actually a purse that my sister just gave me one day because it's not, it used to be her purse, but she didn't really use it that much, so she gave it to me. And I constantly use it because it's one of my biggest purses. Although I'm asking for one of those book bag purses from my grandma. But those are kind of a little bit smaller than this one. But I can put them around my shoulder so it'll be easier to walk around. Especially since I walk now to the library and there's the used bookshop in town. Fact number 5. I have since moved on from the vampire novels. For a while I was a Twilight fan, and I was a Twilight fan. I have all the movies. I really enjoyed the books. Of course, now that I'm older, I've noticed the flaws in the books. And I read House of Night because I was looking for the next big vampire series, but that series grew old after a while, and the main protagonist got on my nerves. I wanted to bitch slap her. I could not stand her. So I no longer, especially with YA vampire novels, just kind of got repetitive and just, they got old. Fact number 6. I have no interest in Rick Riordan, so don't recommend it to me. I might read it one day, but I'd rather read it of my own accord. I have seen some of his Percy Jackson books, his Percy Jackson series at the library, so who knows, maybe I'll get around to it, but I have no interest. I read The Red Pyramid, but to me, I was like, eh. And I have been told that's not his best work, but I'm not excited. I'm not eager to read any of his books. My least favorite genre is romance. I don't like romance. Romance feels generic. I have read classic romance like Gone with the Wind, any of Jane Austen's work, Jane Eyre, and Kate Morton, who's one of my favorite auto-buy authors. She has romance in her stories oftentimes, but I'm just not as into it because, it's just kind of boring at times to me. Fact number 8, I've only read 2 Jane Austen novels, Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, but I do have one of the hardback Barnes & Noble edition with all 7 of her novels. That's how I read Sense and Sensibility. I do prefer Pride and Prejudice over Sense and Sensibility, but it's not my favorite. But it does definitely have my favorite type of romance in it. And I think it's partly because I'm just not as into Darcy. I mean, I like him and I understand his appeal, but why people love him and everything, but I'm not a fan of him. But I do like Pride and Prejudice over Sense and Sensibility, because Sense and Sensibility was kind of boring to me. Fact number 9. If I have to stop before the end of the chapter, like, I'm reading while we're traveling, and then I have to stop because we have to get out of the car, or we reached our destination or whatever, I will, the stopping point has to be a break. I don't like stopping in the middle of the chapter. I mean, that kind of happened to me recently where I was reading Siege and Storm, and we were and I made the mistake of reading my book. Well, first of all, we went to a little farm to show all the animals to my nephew. Just as like a fun little trip for him. So in there, I like seeing all the animals too. We were showing him all the animals. Unfortunately, it was raining that day, so it was it wasn't raining then, but it was definitely cold and muddy because we went back. We live in the south now, but we went up to visit my sister up north, closer to the north area, and but it was cold. It was only in the 50s and raining, and it got chilly here too, but it just, I enjoyed the weather here. So it was kind of a yucky day anyway, but we also went to the Air and Space Museum and the smaller one in Chantilly. And I made the mistake of, because, I've been there before, so, it was cool and everything, but I just wasn't, and of course, I wasn't there, Harrison, my nephew, was with his parents. And so I made the mistake of reading while we were walking, and I got caught, and I got told off by not told off necessarily, that's not the best phrasing, but I got told you don't need to be reading that, or just go sit down and read, and I didn't want to sit down, because I kind of wanted to show that I was part of the family, and I was enjoying it, but, I was trying to be discreet about it, because I had to keep reading, and so I got caught, and then because I was kind of annoyed, so I was like, I kind of was like, fine, having kind of a childish moment, which I often do, because I'm very immature for my age. Which, by the way, I am 28 years old. I turned 28 on Wednesday. And, I got caught. So I had to stop reading in the middle of the chapter. So, okay. So let me keep listing these off, because this is my 3rd time filming this video. So, basically, I have to stop during a page break. I can't stop, I can't stop in the middle of the chapter. It has to be a page break in the chapter. If I have to stop in the middle of it for some reason. Okay, number 10 is one of my bad habits. I have a bad habit of looking at the end of the book with saying my intention is to telling myself that, I'm just going to see how many pages there are, see how many chapters there are, and to spend, and well, a lot of times I end up reading the last sentence, so I kind of spoil myself. So that's one of my bad habits. I kind of let myself get spoiled, oftentimes. Fact number 11 is I love reorganizing my bookshelf. I am constantly reorganizing. Back when we were getting ready to move, I couldn't do anything because most of my books were in storage, so I couldn't organize my shelf. But I was constantly watching the booktube videos of people showing off their rooms and showing off their bookshelf organization. It was driving me crazy, but I couldn't do that. And then when I was at my grandma's house, I was continuing to watch them because I was staying with her for a little while until my parents were ready to, move into the new house. So I was writing down ideas of ways I could organize it, and I couldn't, it was driving me crazy because I couldn't do anything, and so, but finally, I tried to reorganize a little bit. I have all my standalones and historical fiction down here, and, I have a small little section of graphic novels on the bottom corner. And then all my series that I'm really into are on these 2 shelves. Actually, all my series, with the exception of a few, are down here in the 3rd shelf, the middle shelf. And then I have Harry Potter and Cassandra Clare's books right up there. Up at the top, as you can see. So, along with my Funko Pops. I had to put them up high because my cousin and my aunt were visiting, and their little girl, who was my second cousin, was here, and she's like 3 years old, and she decided to come up to my room, and she decided to play with my Funko Pops. And unfortunately, my Oswald Funko Pop, she took off his umbrella. She kind of pulled it off. And so, and by the way, Oswald Cobblepot, as in from the from the Batman universe, but it's the version of him that's much younger. And that's why he's so skinny, and he's from the Gotham TV series on Fox that's going on right now. Which reminds me, that's another show I need to catch up on. I'm kind of focused on Downton Abbey right now, and reading books and stuff. So I had to put those up there. But they left a few days ago, so I don't have to worry about that. And I don't know if I have to worry about Harrison, because I don't think they'll want him to come up here unsupervised. I don't even know if he'll be as interested, because of course my second cousin is a girl, so she'd be more interested in what I have up here than than Harrison, my nephew. Okay, so, but I just have an obsession with constantly finding different ways to organize. I'm a little OCD about that, but I'm not so OCD about like how they look aesthetically. I'll get into more detail about that later. Okay, fact number 12. I love the best friends falling in love. That's one of my favorite tropes. And when I do read a book that has romance in it, I love the best friends falling in love. Like, it's one of my favorite tropes because it reminds me of my parents. My parents went to school on a military base in the Philippines, and their class, like their senior class, everybody was friends with everybody. And even my parents' significant others at the time knew everybody. So, well, actually, my dad's girlfriend might have not been from the Philippines. No, I don't think she was. She wasn't from the Philippines. She didn't go to school there, but she was back in, the U.S. at the time. But my mom's boyfriend was definitely part of their circle of friends. And he kind of asked my dad to look out for my mom. And of course, my dad's girlfriend he kind of did more than looking out for my mom. And then when he goes back home back to the U.S., he finds out. I think he told me that he found out that his girlfriend was cheating on him. So he was like, fine, I'm gonna move in on Elizabeth. That's my mom. And so the two of them fell in love, and which resulted in my sister and me being born. So I kind of have a soft spot for that kind of trope. The best friends falling, and I think it's perfect because you already know each other. Best friends already know each other, so it's just a little bit more intimate. Well, not a little bit, but there's that. But the only difference is the intimacy is added. Okay, so I rarely cry. Fact number 13 is I rarely cry during books. I am sorry, I feel bad, but books just don't make me cry. I mean, sometimes I'll get teary-eyed at the most, but I just do not get emotional about books. I don't know why. Books do not make me cry. I feel horrible about that, but they just, and every time, I feel guilty every time someone says, oh, you're heartless if you can't cry during this moment in this book. It's like, oh, thanks. Really, you're making me feel bad about that? I mean, I know, I don't take it that seriously. I don't feel like a monster or heartless, but I just feel a little guilty that for some reason I can't cry during books. So, but, it's not like, oh my god, I don't cry during some books. There's something wrong with me. No, I mean, I don't feel that way. But I do feel a little guilty that for some reason I don't understand why I can't cry during books. I can't. And maybe it's probably because I spoil myself a little bit. But, I can't. Fact number 14, I love slow burning romances. That's the other favorite trope for couples that I love. It's one of my favorites. Especially when the couple, at first, they do not like each other. You see that on TV shows and movies all the time, like in period dramas. I mean, that's why I do love Pride and Prejudice. It's just not my favorite, but it definitely has that kind of romance. That's cool. My doggy's here. My beagle. One of my beagles. I have 2 beagles. Which, actually, the other one I'm going to have to let out soon because she got into some baby food and it made her sick. So now we got to look out for her when she's going to make sure she goes. Okay. So, like, I love the slow burning romances. They're so great. They're so sweet. And I love how when they don't like each other in person, they finally profess their love and admit that they are in love and stuff. It just ends up being this beautiful, epic romance. It's so, I just love it. It's so cute. Okay, so fact number 15. Okay, I mentioned that we get more into detail about this, but I don't have a problem with, like, I'm not big on I mean, I am, but aesthetics, but I'm not big on aesthetics, like, of my bookshelf. I mean, I like, I love reorganizing my bookshelf. Like, the most is all my hardbacks have to be, like, for a while I had this thing where all my, my hardbacks would go first, and then my paperbacks would lean against them, and that was my thing. But since then, I'm just more about organizing and making them look really cool. And, but, like, I don't, like, I would normally I wait on paperbacks but it's not because, I have to have only paperbacks. It's because paperbacks are just, cheaper. And I don't like buying, I don't like spending over $20 on books. I try to avoid that. But there are times when I just can't wait. So, like, with ACOTAR, my first book is a paperback edition, The Corn, Thorns, and Roses, but I couldn't wait, and I ended up buying Akamath in hardback, and then after that, because I finished it on May 2nd, and I just absolutely had to go and buy Akawar, because Akamath ended on a cliffhanger. So I had to go ahead and buy it, because I couldn't wait. So I went ahead and bought it. But, even like Cassandra Clare books, some of her books are in hardback editions. But most of my books are in paperback because it's convenient. But if I get hardbacks, it's mostly because someone probably bought it for me for like Christmas or my birthday. Okay, so next one, fact number 16, is I always try to get the next book in the series. Even if I haven't read the first book, like, I didn't start, I had just recently started Fallen Kingdoms, although I haven't been reading in a while because I'm kind of trying to read Assassin's Blade. But I bought Rebel Spring, and then if I go to the bookstore anytime soon, I'm going to definitely buy, The Gathering Darkness. And I have to buy, and I did put Crooked Kingdom and the Dream Thieves on my birthday list, because I just had my birthday last Wednesday, and my sister, well, I didn't get them for my mom. I got something else from, which I will share that after I get my gift, after I see my sister, and probably after that weekend when they leave, I will make a video of a haul of all the books I've read, all the stuff I got for my birthday. Which is not a lot, because, only really my parents and my sister and, her husband buying anything for me anymore. Which, I don't mean that isn't, oh, that sucks. I mean that isn't just, no one else, people don't ever, they might, like, take me, like my aunt and cousin who are visiting, they took us out to lunch. But it's not, of course, it's just, I'm not that childish. I can be, but I'm not, But, so hopefully I will get those, along with maybe another gift card, preferably iTunes, and another Books A Million gift card. I don't know, though. But anyway, so I just don't make a big deal about it, I might have, sometimes, on occasion, I might have hardback editions, but most of the time I do try to stick to paperback. Okay, so fact number... wrong one. I already talked about that fact. So fact number 16, I was talking about how I have to get the next book in the series. So it drives me crazy. Because I don't drive, so it's not like I can go to Books A Million regularly, and the used bookstore in town that I can walk to, and the library doesn't necessarily have the popular series that I really am into, that I'm trying to read, that people talk about constantly on BookTube. Like Raven Boys or anything by Sarah J. Maas. It won't necessarily be at the used bookstore or at the library. I mean, I've gotten lucky on occasion with the library, because like Caraval was at the library, which is really awesome. So I borrowed that from there. Okay, so fact number 17. I'm actually okay with love triangles. Love triangles, I'm not gonna get. I mean, I get frustrated and annoyed with them, and sometimes I don't want them to happen. Like Acamore, for instance. If you read that series, then you know. If you already read Acamore, then you know what I'm talking about. That there is a certain love triangle that was hinted at, and I am kind of leaning more towards the mate, the one that she is mated to. But I do want the other guy to be happy. I really do. I love him too, but I just don't want him with Elaine. I just don't want him with the girl. And I just want them to be good friends and have a strong friendship type bond. So, but I'm okay with it. No, I don't hate them as much as most people do. Okay, fact number 18. Okay, one of my least favorite types of covers is the cover of a lot of romance novels where, like, the girl is wearing this nice little sexy dress, but it's also, it fits the time period that the book is set in. You can see a little bit of her skin, like her legs or her cleavage, and she's clinging to the guy who happens to look like Fabio. Like, his shirt is opened or it's off completely, and he has to have six-pack abs, and he looks totally perfect. He looks like Hercules with longish hair, and it's like, really? That's the best you can do? I don't even have to have people on the cover. You can just have the title and, like, written in cursive or something. I don't care. Those covers I don't like those covers. I have a love-hate relationship with covers with people on them anyway. But I do not like those covers. They're too cheesy. Even one of my edition of Gone with the Wind kind of has that type of cover. And I do not like it. It drives me crazy. I can't stand those covers. Okay. Fact number 19. I always was interested in a story about after the wedding, after happily ever after. I want to see how the people from the different class adapt to this new class situation. Like, I've had a fanfiction idea. After I saw the 2017 Beauty and the Beast, I fell in love with that version. I think it's even better than the animated version. I will always be loyal to the animated version, but I'm sorry. This new version is totally awesome. And so I thought about, what would Belle's life be like after? How would she adapt to this new lifestyle? So I thought about a fanfiction idea, and I even wrote a scene. A scene of Belle's engagement ball, and how she interacts with people and stuff, and showing her insecurities. And because Julian, I will not call him Adam. I refuse to call him Adam. Adam does not make sense to me. I feel like it's a name they just gave him. It doesn't sound like a French name. It doesn't sound like an old-fashioned 1700s French name at all. And yes, I know it's the name of the first man that God created in the Bible. Yes, I am well aware of that, but it still does not, and Dan Stevens does not look like an Adam to me. I mean, even the animated guy did not look like an Adam. So, and plus, it's the name of one of the writers on Once Upon a Time, and I do not like the writing on Once Upon a Time. I stopped watching that. I gave up. I should have given up by season 2, but I waited out to season 3, and I did not even watch season 4 when Frozen came on the show. I think putting Frozen was a cash cow and a mistake. But anyway, that's off topic. So I will not call him Adam. I call him Julian. So seeing Julian and like Julian he's a good-looking guy, of course. But I mean, he's played by Dan Stevens, even with a bad wig. Because people said the wig was bad, but I couldn't tell. I'm never good at being able to tell those kinds of things. And seeing how would flirt with him now that he's back to his the way things were. But because he has changed, he's focused 100% on Belle. But of course, Belle is insecure. So that's when I wrote. So I wrote this little scene. And I also, in the story, I would have also included that Belle's fae, like Sarah J. Maas kind of fairies, or Celtic mythology type fairies. So, I was kind of having some fun in doing that. Okay, so fact number 20. Historical fiction is my second favorite genre. I love historical fiction. Oh, hi, Rascal. My dog is trying to get in the chair because it's one of his favorite spots because it's near a window. He has a great view of the driveway. Like I said, I'm not, fact number 21, like I said, I'm not a book crier, but I do have strong reactions. Like, no, I don't ever say F you. I just won't say it. I won't write it down. I won't say it out loud. I might say it in my head just to try it out in my head, but I don't like the word. I mean, my friend Larissa convinced me to say that word out loud, which I did and everything, and I didn't get struck by lightning or anything like that, but I still won't say that word. But I do have those feelings towards Hamlin from the ACOTAR series. I can't stand him. But I definitely have these reactions where I cry out loud. I'm like, don't do this. Don't go there. Why are you doing this? Why don't you believe her? Or you're a dumbass. And just saying all these different words and, talking to myself. And my mom finds that incredibly weird. Because it's like, oh, it's just fiction. It's not real. So why are you reacting that way? But, she does not know fangirls. My mom does not see how has never watched a true fangirl. Although she's a fangirl, but not for fiction. She's a fangirl for baseball. But she's all like, she loves shows like Scandal and Grey's Anatomy, but she doesn't act the way fangirls act. Except for when it comes to baseball. And I pointed that out to her, but she said, well, this is real life. So we have, this is the debate that's been going on between us for a while. So I try to, when she's around, I try not to react as much. I try to be careful and quiet. Okay, so fact number 20. Okay, so fact number 22 is, favorite fairy tales are Rumpelstiltskin and Beauty and the Beast. Fact number 23. I've never read Robin Hood or Legend of King Arthur. I've seen movie versions, and I do have a series that's kind of about Merlin and Arthur's relationship, or at least the first book in the series. But I've never read the books, any of the books based on this character. Even though Robin Hood and Sword in the Stone are some of my favorite stories, favorite movies, and like I said, I've seen adult movie versions of these stories. Like, I really want to see King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword, and yes, I know a lot of people don't like Guy Ritchie and have already criticized it after seeing it, but you know what, I don't care, I still want to see it. And I will probably like it anyway, because you know what, I'm easily impressed. I'm too easy when it comes to that kind of stuff. I have my limits, but... Okay, so fact number 24. Like I actually have 26 facts in here because I actually wrote 22 twice. So I have 26 facts. 24 is when I can't decide which book I want to read, I pick more than one book. Like when I went to visit my sister a few weeks ago, I packed 4 books because I couldn't decide. I was almost done with Siege and Storm, so I just had to get another book. So I knew I had to read Assassin's Blade, but I wanted to bring some of the other books I was excited to read. Some of the series the first books in a series that I just got, like Falling Kingdoms, and The Black Prism. So I ended up bringing those with me because I couldn't decide. And I did start a little bit on this, but since then I focused mostly on Assassin's Blade. And I see that one, I have Bane Chronicles, but I just wasn't as into those short stories as I am with Assassin's Blade. But then again, maybe I'm just, because I'm kind of obsessed with Cassandra Clare, and, I'm not Cassandra, Sarah J. Maas, and I've kind of moved on from Cassandra Clare's books. I like her books, and I still watch Shadowhunter's TV show. I enjoy that, and I think it's better than the books, but I'm just not as into her books anymore. But I do still want to get, like, Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows. I still want to get those, and I want to get that other series of short stories, Tales from Shadowhunter Academy, at some point. Fact number 25, I want to author my own novel. I want to be an author. I love writing fantasy. I want to write my own fantasy, but so far I've only written fan fiction. I just can't progress in a novel because I either get distracted, I don't like the idea, and it's just easier to, and because fan fiction already establishes a world and characters, and you're just taking characters and elaborating on them, and maybe creating your own and writing your own stories for situations that those characters are in. But it's just, I can't, oh my god, I hope, is this 30 minutes? Okay, I hope this can get published. I hope I can publish this video. I'm not very good with time. Okay, so my last fact number 26, is I really love those old-fashioned books that you can get at Barnes & Noble, those hardback editions. So, and those are, because they are usually 20 bucks or more, those are usually, I ask for them for my birthday or Christmas, but I really love those. Those are pretty. Those ones that basically look like they would be books that you would find in Charles Dickens' library. Or at least they look like they would be. Or even like the library at Downton. Sorry, I'm kind of obsessed with that series right now, and mostly because of Dan Stevens. Because ever since I saw him as the Beast, I fell in love with him and his acting skills and everything. So I was kind of obsessed with seeing and watching Downton. And my aunt was telling me about the series before, so I was already kind of interested, but it just made me more interested. But anyway, that's off topic. But like, let's see, like I have this edition. I got this edition from my aunt and uncle for Christmas. Wizard of Oz, the first 5 novels, because of course I've heard of and read the original novel, Wizard of Oz, but there's also several other novels that I want to read, and I am currently in The Marvelous Land of Oz, chapter 5, I believe. No, not chapter 5, I already read. I'm on chapter 6. I think it's chapter 6. I always have to think about it when it comes to Roman numerals. So, and the good news is these chapters are really quick and fast because it's a kid's book. So, but it's a classic, and Wizard of Oz has always had a place in my heart. It's always been kind of part of our family because my dad was the wizard in the play at our local community theater. So it's always been part of us, part of our family, like, you know. Okay, so anyway, hopefully this one won't be too long, and I might have to, but it might not matter because I might end up making another edition of this, another recording of this. So, thank you for listening to me, and I hope you guys weren't too bored. Alright, bye!